Hey, how's it going? It is Giraffe. I am coming at you with a stream of a classic game called Gothic. Now, if you're not aware, Gothic is one of the OG RPGs. I think this was from like 1999. Just getting it to run on a modern computer is really difficult and takes a lot of tweaking, but I've gotten everything done, and we're going to start a new game here.
The kingdom of Murtana, united by King Robar II. During the long years of his reign, he was able to defeat all foes of his realm. All except one. The war against the orcs took its toll, and the prisoners of the realm were to pay the price. The king needed swords for his army, and every man guilty of a crime, no matter how insignificant, was forced to work in the ore mines of Corinus. To make it impossible for them to escape, the king sent out the best magicians of the kingdom to create a magic barrier around the entire valley. I was one of them. Something disturbed the delicate structure of magic. We were trapped inside our own barrier. 1 second of negligence was enough for the prisoners. Corinus was now under the control of the convicts. The king had no choice. He had to negotiate. He needed the ore. Month after month, the king supplied everything the prisoners needed. Month after month, they brought the ore to the edge of the barrier in exchange. Until the present day. Another convict was brought to the cliff. He did not know, but he would change everything.
In the name of King Robar II, bearer of the scepter of Verant, I sentence this convict to...
Stop! Convict, I've got an offer to make you. This letter must reach the leader of the Magicians of Fire.
You're wasting your time.
You may choose your own reward. They'll give you anything you ask for.
It's actually like 3 things.
Very well. I'll take your letter. On one condition. Spare me the rest of his nonsense.
How dare
Keep
you?
silent. Right, send him in.
Welcome to the colony.
That's enough. Leave him alone. And now scram. Get up. I'm Diego. I'm not interested in who you are. You've just arrived. I look after the new arrivals. That's all for now. If you plan to stay alive for a while, you should talk to me. But of course, I won't keep you from choosing your own destruction. Well, what do you think?
Okay, so I've played this game more times than most people have had a hot meal in their life, and I know almost everything about it, but for the sake of for this video series, I'm gonna go in it and I'm gonna try to act completely fresh. I'm not gonna speed run this thing with all the exploits and everything.
Okay, what do I need to know about this place?
We call it the colony. You'll know already that we produce ore for the king. Well, at least we do, in the old camp. There are 3 camps within the barrier. The old camp is the biggest, and it was the first.
How do I get to the old camp?
You just follow this path. The old camp is the next reasonably safe-looking place you'll come across. There are a lot of wild beasts between the camps. You'd be mad to walk around without a weapon.
Where do I get a weapon?
When you get to the old mine, have a look around. I'm sure you'll find something useful. The mine is easy to find. It's just a few meters along the canyon.
Why did you help me?
Because you needed help. Otherwise, Bullet and his boys might have killed you. And I couldn't just stand by and watch, because I came all this way to make a suggestion.
A suggestion?
Yes. After this little incident with Bullet and his guys, you should be aware now that you need protection. Everyone who arrives here has a choice. There are 3 camps in the colony, and you'll have to join one of them. I'm here to show the new ones that the old camp is the best place for them.
Where's Bullet now?
He and the others bring the goods from the outside world into the camp. You'll find him there, but if you plan to fight him, be careful. He's an experienced warrior.
I have a letter for the High Magician of the Circle of Fire.
Really?
I was given it by a mage shortly before they threw me in here.
You're lucky I can't afford to show my face around the mages anymore. Anyone else would gladly slit your throat for that letter. That's because the mages pay their couriers a lot, and most people here don't have anything. If I were you, I'd shut up until I met one of the mages. Although in your situation, that's not likely to happen.
Why not?
The mages are in the castle in the old camp. Only Gomez's people are allowed to enter the castle.
Who's Gomez?
Gomez is the most powerful ore baron. He's the boss of the old camp, the most powerful man in the colony.
Let's assume I want to join his people. What do I need to do?
At the gate of the castle, you'll find a man called Thoris. Tell him Diego sent you.
Thanks for your help.
We'll meet in the old camp.
Okay, so we're in the game now. Like I said earlier, we're not gonna speedrun this. We're gonna take our time and enjoy it. Main reason I'm doing Gothic as one of my first video recordings. There are so many people who have played this game, and it's left such an impression on so many people. But because the game is so old, it's really difficult to get running on modern system. So I took the time to optimize this as well as I could. Usually when you try and run this game, it'll just crash to desktop. So this is for everyone who wants to remember Gothic, but doesn't have the ability to go out there and run it. So we're gonna head over to the old camp. Oh shit. Yeah, you can die doing stupid stuff like that. The threshold is really low. Now, for those of you who haven't played Gothic before, this has one of the weirdest user interfaces I've ever seen. I've never seen anything else like it, and it took me a very long time to figure out how to do anything when I first played this game 20 years ago. So, in order to interact with objects, you have to... Let me go over here. You have to look at it so it's highlighted, press left control, and then use up, down, left, or right, or I rekeyed those arrows to WASD to open an object, and then once you're in its inventory, you have to hold control and then press left or right in order to take or give an object. So this is an unlocked chest in the middle of nowhere. We're just going to take everything. the important thing at this stage of the game is to pick everything up that you possibly can pick up, so that we can trade it for ore. And ore is the currency that they use here in the colony. Those gold coins that we picked up, I imagine they have some value outside of the colony in this game's universe, but inside the colony they are literally worthless. You're going to see me jumping around a lot. It's actually a little bit faster to travel up an incline when you jump, for some stupid reason. So if you see me jumping around a lot, that's why. So we've picked up a rusty sword, and we actually have a real weapon now. It sucks. It's bad. But it is a weapon. The #1 rule of a fight, bring a weapon. This thing over here is kind of like a pig. It's called a mole rat. We can bait it into attacking us. Combat works pretty much the same way as interacting with any other object. You have to look at it to highlight it, then press Control, draw your weapon with spacebar, and then press left or right in order to swing left, swing right. If you press forward, you can attack forward. Right now, our character doesn't have any weapon skills whatsoever, so this is a one-handed weapon. He holds it with two hands because he doesn't really know what he's doing. His attacks are clumsy and slow. You can't really chain them together. The important thing about combat in this game is to strike first and stun lock the enemy. It's an actual game mechanic. You can stun lock the enemy so they never get a hit on you, and they die. So it's important to take enemies on one-on-one whenever possible here. If you don't do that, then there's a good chance that even two enemies, if they're relatively weak, will be able to kill you if you don't know what you're doing. Now, I'm pretty good at the combat in this game. I've played this game quite a lot, like I said. So we should be able to do quite a lot that we wouldn't normally be able to do. So these big birds called scavengers have meat on them, and we can actually cook that meat over here, which is the old camp that Diego was talking about, and we can sell that meat, or we can eat it if we need to restore our health. By the time we walk into the old camp, we're going to have enough stuff to trade for ore and get a better weapon. So that dude up there is a goblin. And goblins don't sound like much, and that little dude is half our size. But do not be deceived. If we try to fight that goblin right now, he will 100% murder us. It won't be fair. So, there are two of these mole rats here. We want to get just close enough to aggro one of them, so only one attacks will lead him away. The other is going to come to his aid, but he's not going to get time to save his buddy. So, we were able to turn a 2-on-1 situation into 2 1-on-1 situations, which makes a big difference. So we got a healing potion, a club, some blueberries. That red bar at the bottom left, you probably figured this out if you're not stupid. That's our health. I think we have like 10 health points. We have 40. So these blueberries will pretty much heal us completely just by eating one of them, so we'll do that. Climbing and jumping is a little difficult in this game. You're going to see me saving quite a lot when it comes to climbing down, because there's no real climb down mechanic. You can climb up things, but climbing down is difficult. We have to kind of hop down and hope that we don't bounce off the ledge and fall to our death. You see how we kind of bounced? Like... okay. We're good. So we're going to kill basically anything that we stand a chance against. We're going to get those experience points. We'll be able to use those experience points to buff up our character's stats once we get into the old camp. There are skill trainers like Diego. He'll be able to bump up our strength and dexterity, and then we can get some weapon skills from a different person in there. So we just picked up a weapon that's slightly better. The old sword does 12 damage, this one does 10. We're going to stick with the rusty sword because the old sword is bugged. It has like half the striking range of any other normal one-handed weapon. Yeah. Oh wow. So if you charge an enemy first, rather than allow them to charge you, sometimes you can catch them in the middle of their aggro animation, and you'll be able to get a first strike in, and that's the most important thing. You strike them first, you stun lock them. Because the opposite can happen to you. They can 100% stun lock you with lots of little attacks and you're dead. That's why, whenever possible, especially at the lower levels when you don't have armor, you always try to take enemies on a one-on-one fight. I believe this is a regular scavenger, not a juvenile, so it's going to be a little tougher. Oh, that's no juvenile. Come on. Okay, so we have to be a little careful. There are certain areas we absolutely cannot go right now. Those blood flies right there will murder us dead. So we're going to go back over here to the main camp.
But keep it to yourself. People don't need to know it.
These guys will teach you how to skin animals and collect fur.
I better keep out of it.
But we don't have the skill points necessary. And if we try and fight those scavengers, then they'll attack them first, and we won't get that experience. If we try to circle around the back, we risk getting into a pack of wolves. So we're just going to save that for probably next episode. Looks like one of the guards over here took out the scavenger. Alright, these are fully grown scavengers, so we have to be careful here. We're still at level 1. I'm gonna save just to be sure about this. Don't you do it. Now the fully grown ones have 2 meat. I want to lure this guy away because those blood flies back there have a very big aggro range. And we definitely can't take them right now. Okay, so we took a couple hits there. That's what I'm talking about. Our character's really clumsy still. He doesn't know how to chain attacks very well. You have to be careful around here. There's still quite a few enemies that can one-shot us. Okay. We're gonna go the other way. There's some wandering wolves over there, if my memory's correct, and we wouldn't stand a chance against them. And even if we did, if we don't have the ability to harvest their skin, their teeth, and everything, we're actually giving up quite a lot of money when we kill them, because we won't be able to loot the body for any of that stuff. So we're gonna wait to go over to that area. Okay, we gotta be careful about this. You can kind of line the enemies up so they stumble. That helps a little bit. Read some of that. Some of that. If you've seen that I have the high ground meme from Star Wars, it's quite the opposite in Gothic. In Gothic, if you have the high ground, that means you are further away from the enemy's hitbox, and the enemy's closer to your hitbox. So having the low ground in Gothic is actually the better advantage when it comes to fighting the enemies. We're just going to circle around and take out any more scavengers that we find. When we get in, we'll be able to fry up all that meat, sell it, and get ourselves a cheap weapon. But even a cheap weapon is going to be twice as good as what we have right now. Literally, twice as good. Now these are the orc lands over here.
You better not stay here. The orc land starts behind that barricade.
Is it dangerous?
Let me put it like this. You may as well give me all your ore before you go out there and let the orcs rip you to ribbons.
I don't think I want to do that.
In that case, you better not move another step.
So, there is an exploit we can kind of do here. There's a bunch of orcish wolves just beyond this barricade. We can aggro them, have them chase us over here, and then these guys are going to start fighting them. And if we get enough of those orc dogs, they're going to kill them. And then we can loot their weapons. Not their armor, for some reason. Just their weapons. We're not going to do that, because I don't want to cheese this game. But, like, this dude right here has a 32 attack sword right there, which is very powerful for this stage of the game, considering our current sword has 10. So these potions are just better ways to heal. 50 life bonus versus, like, 14 for eating some herbs. We don't want to waste them, though. We want to use the potions in situations where we don't have a whole lot of time to heal. There are a lot of enemies nearby. I look at these guys, and all I see, to be honest, is 200 floating XP. And, we're gonna be able to one-hit kill them by, like, the end of the next episode, without a doubt. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Fuck. So that was almost that. Combat system's a little wonky. Oh, we're bleeding. So even just 2 scavengers is a little much for us right now. You can see how difficult things can be with how obnoxious the targeting system is. So up here, there's a guy that we can talk to, and for absolutely no reason at all, the game will give us 100 experience points for having found him and talked to him. So we're just gonna do that. He's almost like an Easter egg.
What are you doing here? Don't often get visitors up here. Very clever of you to find my hiding place.
What are you doing here?
Oh, I'm fed up with the old camp. I had trouble with Gomez's folks. That was some time ago. I guess nobody remembers that now. But I'm staying here. There's too many blockheads running about in the old camp for my liking.
He has a withered axe, which isn't super good. It's not worth killing him. So lockpicking. In order to lockpick, we have to interact with the object and then guess whether or not we have to go left or right. So that was a right. That was good. Right, left. Okay. So right, left, left, right. It worked. And we'll take all that mad stuff. Sorry, Gilbert. And now the trick is getting back down without dying. Gilbert may yet have his revenge. Oh no. Oh boy. Okay, so this is one of those things you have to take with a grain of salt. The game's 20 years old. Glitches like this happen. There's no way for me to move out of it. So we're going to have to go into the debug menu. You go into the character screen, you type in Marvin, and now we just hit F8, and we're unstuck. Alright, so that's where we're going to leave it for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a game that means a lot to me. It just really was a big part of my formative years when it came to gaming. And I hope you tune in for the next episode.